This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining Gym. SuperTraining Gym, the strongest gym in the West. Here we got one of SuperTraining Gym's newer members, probably been with us for about a year or two. We got Orly going here with a squat. You're going to see a lot of different lifters, and that's what makes this Sling Shot Record Breakers contest so much fun to be a part of, put on by Jesse Burdick at CSA in Dublin, California. But it makes it so much fun to be part of this because so many different types of lifters are sharing the same platform. That girl was an absolute beast. Brittany Terry, she was so strong. It was crazy. And then we got Kristi Hawkins, who won tons and tons of money because she just kept breaking one world record after another. And then how can we forget our little pocket Hercules here, Emily Hu? She's a savage, and she also broke a bunch of all-time world records. I think she ended up with a world record in just about everything, maybe except for the deadlift. And then, it seemed like one lifter after another was just coming up and just smashing big lifts. And it's crazy to see the strength of the females right now in powerlifting. It's really probably the one thing that has really boggled my mind is to see the progress of the females. Not that I never thought that females could be strong. Certainly knew that, and there was plenty of females that have been strong over the years. But the progression that they have made, the men have made a lot of progression as well. But the progression from the women, the weights that the women are lifting are really mind-boggling. And I think that's just due to the fact that there's more women with barbells in their hands now than ever before. I think a huge part of that is in part to CrossFit. I think CrossFit led a lot more women to handling some barbells, and not even just through CrossFit, not even just CrossFit girls turning into powerlifters per se, but girls just kind of taking note in general, saying, hey, those girls with the thick thighs and the girls with the thick butts, that's actually pretty attractive. The guys took note as well. And when these girls were training for performance and stopped worrying about their physique so much and stopped worrying about how skinny they were, they ended up with this remarkable physique that people actually really were like, hey, wow, these women look phenomenal. And not only that, they're not just lifting for their physique, they can actually perform, and they can actually perform really well. They can actually squat 300 pounds, deadlift 300 pounds, bench press 200 pounds. I mean, you're seeing it more and more in every competition. So my hat goes off to the ladies. It's really unbelievable what they've been able to do. Here's my boy, little Smokey, who had an absolutely amazing day. You can see myself trying to share the spotlight with him there. I wanted to get on that platform and lift with him. That's how fired up you get when you're coaching people. And Smokey didn't need my help on that day. He was just crushing it the whole day. He went 9 for 9. Marcus, Filipino Thunder, is the one coaching a lot of these athletes at SuperTraining. Here we got Jeremy Avila popping in with some commentary. Let's listen in and hear what he's got to say.
Yeah, it was high. It was for sure high. Yeah, I missed the last one. I'm really happy with the way the day went, though. Kind of, how we all have tweaks coming into these meets and stuff like that, and this one was no different for me. So today I went conservative with the squats, and I'm happy with what I was able to get today. So I wish I could have got the last one, but it's time to move on to bench.
Yeah, I feel you. It's a long day, man. I was just wondering, how does that change your game plan up? I know it's all about total. So how does that change your game plan up for maybe deadlifts?
Well, it's all about what the day gives me. I do my opener, and then that tells me what I do next. I don't think past openers. I know I have a range of what I think I can hit in the day, but I feel my opener, and then how that goes. We make a second attempt. I kind of just take it lift by lift. In the past, I've kind of fell victim to being like where I need to hit these numbers no matter what. And the day, you don't know how you're gonna feel on the day of the meet. You don't know. Maybe you squat a little lighter, but you surprise yourself on the bench, and then you surprise yourself on the deadlift. So
Jeremy Avila had a terrible groin injury, and I actually had to lube him up in the back with some horse liniment. I was giving him a rub down into the nether regions, all the way up into the area. But you do what you got to do, and Jeremy did great on the squats, and we'll see how he does the rest of the meet. Here we got Jessica Smith. She had to switch to bench only because she tore her meniscus in training. So she ended up with a knee injury. Jessica's knees have kind of been crappy for a while. She's kind of suffered through some just kind of general aches and pains in her knee. But then when she switched over to wrapping her knees, I think that's actually part of what did it was the knee wrap, which you wouldn't think that the knee wrap would cause any interference like that, but it certainly did in her case. And I've heard that from some other lifters before as well. So sometimes wrapping your knees, just the compression that it can cause, can, especially if you already have a pre-existing injury in there, can really make the knee worse. So it's just something to think about, something to be cautious of. But going back to how strong some of these women are, I mean, look at the size of Kristi Hawkins' arms. Unbelievable development. She has unbelievable strength. And I know a lot of the comments are going to be about this and going to be about that. But look, she's a strong athlete. The guys do whatever they have to do to be strong. And sometimes the women think it's cool to be strong as well, just like the dudes do. So people have make different choices and make different decisions. I think Kristi has a bodybuilding background. So that's how she was able to develop a lot of that hypertrophy, along with doing other things that bodybuilders probably do, right? And just the size of these women, it's crazy, because it's not really the fact that they're women that's so mind-boggling. It's the fact that a lot of them just don't weigh that much. A lot of these girls are 112 pounds, 132 pounds. Even some of the quote-unquote bigger girls are still only like 180 pounds, which in comparison to the dudes, a lot of these dudes are 260, 290, 330, and so on, depending on how far down the super heavyweight rabbit hole that we go. You notice the form and technique used on the bench press is a little bit similar from each person. They're trying to get an arch. The reason why we arch is for stability. We're trying to increase stability, and we are trying to decrease the range of motion. And the arch is not really supposed to come from the lower back. The arch is supposed to come from the mid and upper back. The lower back arches itself no matter what you do in a bench press, because once you put your feet down on the ground, you end up with an arch in the lower back. The lower back ends up not touching the bench. As you can see right there, the second that the individual's feet are put down flat on the ground, the lower back will arch itself up. And what people are really trying to do, and I don't know, who everyone gets taught by or whatever, but all we're really trying to do is stabilize the shoulder. The bench press is the most dangerous of the three exercises. Other people may try to argue me on that, but it's the only movement that has like a fixed apparatus that we're like lifting off of. When we squat, yeah, there's a rack to pick the weight up out of, but I think we can all agree that we're designed to squat. We're designed to deadlift. We're designed to bend down and pick things up. That's pretty obvious. But are we designed to lay down on a pad and try to have this external weight that we're fighting against in this fashion with both arms pinned back behind the midline of our body? Probably not. And so that's why people are going to try to take advantage by bench pressing, as you're seeing Emily Hu do right here. Now, you might, some people might comment and say her butt's off the bench or this and that. Why is she getting white lights? You guys can't see what the judges can see. So even if you see a little bit of daylight underneath the athlete's butt, know that some other part of their butt cheek is probably still in contact with the bench press. There we got Josh Kim. Josh Kim is a newer employee with Sling Shot. Been with us for a few months now, and it was great to see him compete and him get out there on that platform. Got my boy Little Smokey throwing around some weights. Like I said earlier, Smokey just was on fire the entire day. He ended up going 9 for 9. I tried to be there for every single attempt that he took. That is really, really important, that you want to be around. You want to be there for people. This is a really important message that I learned in professional wrestling is if you go to a professional wrestling event and you're part of it, you don't leave until the last person is done. And you guys and girls should take pride when you go to these powerlifting meets. You should be there the entire day. If you're going there just to support someone as a family member or something, that's kind of different. But if you're a lifter and you go in there to support your team, you should be there for your entire team for as long as you have to stay there, for as long as, or however long the meet is. And so sometimes these meets are 10 hours, 12 hours, but just understand when there's a competition and a couple people in the gym talk about, wanting to compete on a certain day, just understand that your day is screwed and that you're not going to be home at 3:30 or 4 o'clock. Probably won't be home till like 9 or 10 o'clock. See Jesse Burdick with that lovely love tap right there, trying to get his lifter fired up. And it worked. The guy was able to lock the weight out pretty easy. Good strong press right there. This young kid that they have is extremely strong. He went for a 700-pound squat and a 700-pound deadlift. I think he missed both of them, unfortunately, but I'm sure next time out he'll smash both of those lifts. Jeremy Avila ended up with some pretty good bench pressing on the day, and it was good to see him hang in there for the meet. And then you'll see at the end here, he ends up with a big deadlift attempt, which still gives him a shot at the all-time world record total for the 198-pound weight class. Always trying to tuck those elbows in, and this is a shirted bench, which you did not see a lot of at the meet. We got the old school guy up there, Art Ramsey, who's a kind of legend in his own right in this NorCal area up here. He's just been a guy who's been competing for a long time. Our head judge right there, Andy Zavala, he actually has squatted 1,000 pounds. There you see Stan Rhino Efforting, multiple-time world record holder, subbing in and being the head judge. Stan was there judging the entire contest as a side judge for most of it, and here he is as our head judge. Stan's deadlifted over 800 pounds, squatted over 800 pounds, and also bench press 600 pounds. Absolute savage. In addition to that, professional bodybuilder. Another world record, crushed. You know, it's just Tiny Tiff is absolutely amazing lifter, super strong, and it's sometimes annoying, you know, when you see some of these girls hit some of these lifts, because you're like, man, like I've been training really hard, and 315 kind of felt heavy for me the other day. And you see these girls go up to it, walk up to it like it's nothing. They weigh half of your weight and they just smash the weight. Here we got Jessica Smith getting into it, getting hyped, smacking herself up, getting ready for a big deadlift. I want to say that she finished with around a 430-pound deadlift for the day. She had an excellent day, especially considering that it's very emotional after you make the lift, and she was, kind of teary-eyed after she hit the lift. You don't know what's going to happen in these meets. It's always like a roll of the dice, and you can see how happy we both are. We're both messing around with each other. You don't know what's going to happen in a lot of these contests. You have a brief idea of what's going to happen because of what you did in training and some different things like that, but we don't really know what's going to happen. And look at this little girl hopping up to the bar. She just walked right up to it and just went for it. There was an attempt that she made. She made her opening attempt. She ended up deadlifting around 99 pounds, which I thought was very, very impressive. Kristi Hawkins just continues to demolish the day and continues to up the ante on her total and her world recordness. That happens all the time. She just keeps crushing some big weights. We had a 600-pound pull. This girl right here nailed a 600-pound deadlift, and she also attempted a 628-pound deadlift. I'm not really sure why those numbers were chosen, but I think the 628 maybe would have represented. There's the 600 right there. Look at that. Actually looked pretty easy. She's pretty hyped. Look at the audience. Look at how happy everybody's pumped up for that. And that's what you want to see. That's what powerlifting's about. Powerlifting's about, you giving the best effort that you can possibly give, and you trying to lift the most amount of weight. And you can see Jessie Burdick trying to hype her up, trying to talk her through this. 628 pounds. It looked, it started to look like that thing was going to go. But she couldn't quite get it all the way through to the top there. When the women are lifting, I don't know what you guys can see on this video, but sometimes the girls will pee on the platform, and everyone always makes a big deal of it. So I know there's going to be comments in the comments below, so I might as well mention it. Just sometimes that happens to some of the ladies. It's just, and the girls just suffer through it. Like, shit, man, if I peed myself during a lift, I probably just wouldn't do the lift, to be honest with you. But these girls figure out a way to still lift the big weights. Here we got Smokey. I think that might have been his third attempt deadlift. He ended up with a 556 deadlift, which ended up giving him a 1504 total at 181. Gave him about a 10 to 15 pound contest PR. There's Jeremy Avila. You can see he's, somebody's a little sick in the head when they go out and deadlift 800 pounds with a big smile on their face. Look how easy he just did that. He ripped that up like it was nothing. I don't remember if there was any in-between lifts, but I know he went for 900. This is 903 that he went for. Place couldn't have been louder. Everybody was super pumped up for this lift, but he, for this particular meet, was not able to get it off the ground. And you can see he's still as happy, pretty much, as if whether he makes it or misses it. Here we're giving out the awards. We gave out about $8,000. You can see people getting their year off the team check. It feels really good to be able to sponsor powerlifting in this way and be able to give out money in this way. And also Slingshot is giving out $1,000 to anyone that breaks an all-time world record. So we had so much fun at this meet and thought it was such a good idea that we're doing it for all-time world records, male, female, but only in the open category. Doesn't count if you're a master's lifter or a teen lifter or a collegiate lifter. None of that BS counts, and it doesn't count like per federation. It's only all-time world records, period. So I'll keep you guys more up to date on that as we continue to support powerlifting. So much fun being part of Sling Shot Record Breakers. Congratulations to Jesse Burdick, his team, and everybody else that was involved from Slingshot. Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you guys later.